Hello everyone and welcome back to Sam's on Wrestling. This is our Only the Good in series, is that the correct name?
Yes.
This
is the round table, Only the Good.
Yes. So as the title suggests, this is where we take a topic or a storyline in wrestling and see the good in it when it's got a lot of bad reviews. And the reason we're doing this one is because Dave Meltzer called it the worst feud in 2003. Can you guess what it is?
Yeah. Well, if you just look up the Wrestling Observer Awards, do some homework.
Or
Leave you to do it.
You could also wait 3 seconds.
I think they've read it in the title.
Probably, so you could wait minus 10 seconds.
Kane versus Shane McMahon,
yes.
Sam. Yes. Dave Meltzer. So sometimes when we're going to see the good in it, it'll be things that just generally everyone knows are bad. Sometimes we'll go on what's been voted bad. Maybe in people like Cultaholic, What Culture's constant top 10 list, we'll have a look to see what's been negative. And we're going to see, are there any positives from it? And any good to see in Kane versus Shane, for example?
And I'm actually surprised you suggested this topic because when I'm thinking of this series, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to try and pick teeth and find the good in Jinder Mahal's title run.
We're starting gently.
Yeah.
We're starting gently, but I do know there are a lot of people who think this is terrible.
And I really disagree, which is good.
Well, we're going to get on. So,
yeah.
Kane and Shane. So let's start off, let's just get a little over. If you don't know the rivalry, it's from 2003. Kane has just unmasked. Do you know why Kane unmasked?
I do indeed.
So, he's in a tag team with RVD. They lose the tag titles in a 5-minute match to La Resistance. Kane and it's RVD's fault. And Kane does the famous thing in the tag team going, if we don't win, I'm splitting up, we're going our separate ways. Stone Cold's trying to jeer him up, going, where's the Kane, I remember. So then they go to the tag title match. RVD again kind of gets in the way, and Kane just goes ballistic with a chair. He absolutely destroys La Resistance. The same night, Sam, Evolution are scouting for a 4th member. There's no Batista at this point. Everyone assumes it's going to be Mark Jindrak, by the way. They all thought Mark Jindrak was going to get involved there. That's how wet the dirt sheets were all over the place.
They did video packages for it,
They did, and they were like, let's just crush that in, delete that bit there. And so Triple H comes down and goes, Kane, I want you to be the 4th member of Evolution. It's like, oh yeah, he's evolved. That makes sense, doesn't it? So it made no sense, like Triple H going there. Stone Cold Steve Austin goes, he'll be your puppet. You'll be the puppet for Evolution. You can have a world title shot. Essentially, they were saying Triple H is picking Kane so he didn't have to defend his title because he just struggled against Kevin Nash at Bad Blood. Then Eric Bischoff comes down and goes, you can have a world title shot, but if you lose, you have to take off your mask.
Right, because they were co-general managers at the time.
They
right?
were.
Something along those lines, yeah.
But the problem with that is it was not a pay-per-view. It was on Raw in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
They didn't save this big, enormous thing until a pay-per-view. They waited until Madison Square Garden. Randomly gets a world title shot out of nowhere. It's 2 weeks after Bad Blood. Yeah, that he has the match. And then he loses because of shenanigans. So Kane's unmasking comes from interference. He takes off his mask, chokeslams RVD, he's now heel. He sets JR on fire in a very entertaining interview. No one can control him. Linda McMahon turns up. And Kane goes mad, goes to the stage, and there's Linda McMahon. And he tombstones Linda McMahon, which is, quite frankly, in itself, insane.
Brilliant.
Then the next week, Shane returns, the first time he's been seen since the invasion, attacks Kane. They then go into a giant rivalry where they keep hurting each other. They put themselves into a dumpster on fire. There's a limo crash. They have a last man standing match at Unforgiven, which Shane does his famous fall and misses. He then gets attacked in the hospital. They have a date.
So romantic.
And then they have an ambulance match at Survivor Series the same night Kane buries The Undertaker alive. So this is the general rivalry.
Busy boy that night, really.
So I think the main thing that people remember from this storyline is Kane electrocuting Shane McMahon's testicles. Now let's start there before we look at a good. I've Googled this. Essentially, it was a very tough Google to make it not seem like I was trying to commit a crime.
Yeah.
But can you be electrocuted from a car battery? No, you can, but the chances are very small because the amps are correct to hurt you, but the voltage is too low. So you'd have to up the voltage. So the thing that would actually hurt more would be the clamps, clamping the testicles.
Yeah.
The thing after this, even throwing water on, it's there. Yeah. So That's it. So we've
It's
had
Kane. He can do this and create fire.
Produce fire.
So I think he's his own power generator.
In 1998, he did a lightning bolt and lit a man on fire.
I think we can stretch our imagination far enough to think that Kane could produce the electricity.
But you say this in this when Kane unmasks, he must lose his fire ability because to light JR on fire, he covers him in petrol.
He just love a barbecue.
With the giant dustbin, with the skip. He has to use petrol.
Sometimes he might be a bit nervous and he has to do it manually. Happens to the best of us, right? It's not easy. He didn't have his mask on anymore and he felt a bit exposed.
Oh no.
He's just sometimes you need to light a match. And you know what, Kane, there's nothing wrong with that.
You know, like when you're at camping and you just can't get the fire going.
Come on, JR. And JR's just laying there. Come on.
Do you reckon Kane, when he does his fire, it's not actually magical powers? He's had to set up the fire with a bit of lint earlier in the day. And essentially, he's got when I do this, stagehand, gasoline, go! So we're going to look at some of the good stuff that came from this. Now, the interesting thing for us looking at Very Good, this is one from my generation. I am 11 years old. You are 2.
Wasn't really watching Raw at the time.
You weren't watching Raw. So yours is, in retrospect... And mine is as a child. So we've got an adult looking at it and we've got a child looking. It's very rare it's this way round.
Yes.
So first of all, we'll go with you looking at it from retrospect. What is the first thing that pops in your head when you go, only the good? What is the good that you think of?
I think there's a lot of good there. Like, I get you can say, oh, okay, Kane's supposed to be a monster and it's the untrained son finding, but...
That's one of the biggest negatives is this monster couldn't put away Shane McMahon easily. He struggled against Shane.
And I get it.
Yeah.
But also, you've just got to enjoy it. Like, it's mental. Right.
What specific moments are the things that you found that was good? Like, what?
So Kane, Shane's jump is amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
At first, Shane had set Kane on fire. I know Kane was trying to do it to Shane, and he kicked him onto the top of that. Like, that was
so Shane runs off, right, into the backstage area, looking for Kane, and Kane attacks him, takes him up to this bin, and there's 8 gasolines there. Can I just say, JR? This is JR. JR's like, oh my god. It's so low in the voice. JR's amazing. When he was on it, he was so good. Jerry King's actually doing good work. Somebody get out. Somebody stop him. What was annoying about it is, so he lights it on, and you could just tell he's throwing the gasoline miles away. It's like, instead of going, here, it's, and gasoline! Yeah. So, clearly the fire comes from, probably just around, and all you got to do is just jump over, which is well done. It's very well shot. You can't tell. Kane's going to try and throw him in from, a tombstone, like a lawn dart, and then Shane kind of gets out, and then just lightly kicks him. It's the lightest kick, and Kane goes, no. And Shane's was just burn in hell, you son of a bitch. Is the line that comes out, and then Kane turns up next week.
Not burnt.
Oh no, the little mark on his arm.
He had a bandage.
His little bandage.
Bandage. So Kane has been.
Do you know why? Because all the gasoline was at the back.
He's been burned heavily twice.
But that was amazing watching that though, because as a child watching it, you're like, oh my god, and even as an adult, when you know it's that was generally like an oh my god moment. It ended Raw as it should do. And that's really the shenanigans is where I'm going to go to for the good. Every shenanigan they did, apart from the electrocution that was a bit silly.
It's memorable.
But it is memorable, but it is a bit silly. Is all the stuff like the limo crash, I think, is unbelievably done.
Yeah. Because
clearly Kane's not in there, or if he is, well done for the security of it. But Shane lures him into a limo, releases the accelerator that he's tricked him, and the limo at full speed crashes into the bottom of a lorry truck bit and just disintegrates. And what made that over the top that people they remember the crash, they don't remember the after effects. And there's 2 after effects that stick in my mind. Is one, the reaction from every single person in the time. You had Stone Cold, who's been trying to push him to be more villainous. He's probably the reason it happened. He's there going, is he okay? Is he okay? Yeah. Even though he's already chokeslammed Stone Cold, he's been setting people on fire. He's making sure he's okay. JR and the King are going, I don't care what type of monster, this should not happen to anyone. Shane's gone too far, Shane trapped him. They actually make Shane a negative. That's really good. And then the week after, Kane's in the hospital. They're saying he's unconscious, he's not moving, they're trying to do a thing, and then he sits up and attacks all the hospital staff. Yeah. Good timing. It's
funny, yeah.
Did he actually wait? Do you reckon he was like, not yet, not yet, not yet, now! It's like when fruit goes off. You know when you put a piece of fruit and you're going, I'm waiting for it to be ripe. And it's not ripe.
Quite right.
And you're right, and the fruit's there going, wait, hold on, don't go ripe, wait till he leaves the room. Go, ripe! We're ripe now. You come back in, oh, it's not ripe anymore. That's why they do. I think Kane was actually awake the entire time.
Really?
Yeah, I really do. I think Kane was awake. But I think that's great. That crash, genuinely, they did good crashes back then because they had the Rock with Hogan that happened the year beforehand as well. We talked about in the last video. And then it looked amazing. It looked devastating.
Yeah. And you just think that's the stuff you remember when you're older as a kid, especially when you really invest in it. You think it's real. I don't know if you did at that point. Yeah, you thought.
Yeah. I was still not. I still hadn't gone over kayfabe.
This is amazing, like TV, and wrestling can be a lot of different things. You've got to go. There's different genres almost within wrestling. So I get you taking it seriously, and you've got.
Some people don't like things like the Wyatts and the Wyatt Six and all that lot because they're going, oh, it's silly. It's not real in this day and age. Why? Why not? Yeah. Why can't it?
It's
why
wrestling.
Can't it be?
It's a fictional and ridiculous world where loads of different stuff happens. You've got your Kurt Angle and your Bret Harts and the sports presentation where you.
But Kurt Angle's the silliest person that I've ever seen.
Also true. So the sports presentation has its place. Absolutely, we love it. But sometimes you've got to go. You know what? We're going to do the Devil's Son against Kane. So literally.
So people put the negatives on this for a few reasons, especially Meltzer, who doesn't like anything fun. Let's be honest here. Is one, Shane McMahon is too strong. Yeah. But at first, it was fine because it was a man fighting for his mum. And I will remember Shane's return clear as day because I think that's the next good I want to talk about. That the week before and the week after. So Kane, the weeks before has already chokeslammed Eric Bischoff off the stage through a table. And he over-rotates Eric. He takes a really stiff landing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That is brilliant already because it showed that Kane is just don't care. Kane as a monster was booked so well in this 3 months. Yeah. Like, his match with RVD was fine at SummerSlam, but he was really horrible to RVD. And then obviously things with Shane. It's what happened afterwards. I think people, because they go with The Undertaker, and then he was for some reason in the Armageddon triple threat with Triple H and Goldberg. Yeah. He shouldn't have been in that. That kind of killed the monster-esque. And he also got a bit over... He was on the screen a lot. So he might have, just been... Overexposed quite a bit. So these are I can see where the negatives came from. But... that tombstone on Linda, safest thing you've ever seen. Now, I will never, ever believe in male-on-female violence in wrestling. I don't like it. I think it has to be booked very, very, very well to work. So, for example, the ones that stick in my mind are Chyna, because they book her to be on par with the men from the off. And Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 34 when she fought with Triple H, because everyone went, she's UFC fighter, she's tough, and they booked her as such. Every other one since then, like I think about Stone Cold when he brutalised Lita with a steel chair. He had to do that because there was no way anyone believed he was a heel. So he had to beat up a woman in the same way they beat up announcers and stuff. Yeah. I don't like it. I'll never subscribe to it. But that moment of Kane tombstoning Linda, I think is unbelievable because it's Linda. Linda doesn't take any bumps. Like, that's not a thing that she does. She might take a pie face or something. But to get tombstoned on the stage, no one knew Linda was there, by the way. In that bit. So they knew Linda was there the night. She'd already done a thing with Vince and told Vince was doing a bad job with Kane. And then Kane pushes through a group of bodies and it's beautifully camera worked and Linda's just there. Yeah. Kevin Dunn, by the way. I don't rate Kevin Dunn in the grand scheme of things, but when he got it right, he got it right. And that pushed through and then Linda was there. Then he tombstoned her. And there was some really good stuff in there. He's got Linda and Jerry Lawler gets up from the commentary desk to try to stop it. Yeah. Of course he would. Yeah. Which is great. And he takes Jerry Lawler out and then he tombstones it. And I can hear the refs going, did he chokeslam her? No, tombstone. It looks so real, so well done. And immediately it makes Kane look like a proper monster. What it does is it means that no one's safe. No one's safe. Everyone's got peril. If Linda can get tombstoned, he is this unhinged, unpredictable monster. You don't know what he's going to do next. So it's brilliant. And then you've got the character motivation from Shane, and which is as strong as you can get. You've killed my mum. The next week, Shane's music hits when Kane's in the ring, and everyone goes... Shane? Because Shane hasn't been on telly since the invasion. Literally, Survivor Series 01, no Shane. So this is what SummerSlam. So around about August 2003. So he's been gone practically 2 years. He was a heel. And literally he's just face of just serious. Just gets down the ring and just goes straight at Kane. And he hits chair shots and he goes off the same side of the ring where he chokes on Eric Bischoff. He goes through the table and Shane's like, go crazy. And then Kane sits up and laughs. And that's the thing that everyone forgets about this Kane and Shane rivalry. Shane gets on top of Kane a lot. But Kane never stopped. You can't say Kane's going to be an unbeatable monster because we've just had 3 years of him not being an unbeatable monster. So I was okay with that a little bit. Every time something happened to Kane, he sat up. The only time Kane didn't set up was when he was set on fire and when he went through the truck. And that's actually scary in its own way because you think that you've basically killed him like 3 times and you think you've got him done and then suddenly, bang, you've had the hope and it's been removed and suddenly he's just
fine again. You've done nothing to him.
It was the
That's
matches
demoralising.
that made Kane not look great
Yeah.
because Shane was on top in a lot of those matches. Also, Kane did a lot of. I don't know why. Stop it. It's really annoying. Stop heavy breathing with a deep voice. You didn't do it as Kane. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. But so like the matches they had, Shane too much offense.
Yeah.
There should have been something else. You can have the motivation, and that's where I can see people dropping down. But this was nowhere near the worst rivalry of 2003.
No.
Not even
Triple
not
H
even
was
close.
right there.
Triple H Scott Steiner.
There you go.
There you go. Immediately, if you want the worst, by the way, Dave, it was that. Now, was it as overexposed as this? No. Was it all over? Did it make Shane look too strong? But let's be honest, Shane always looks strong. Every time Shane says anything, Shane killed Randy Orton's psychopath gimmick.
Yeah.
Because he just never sold him anything.
Yeah.
Shane against The Undertaker at Mania 32.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you could argue that. But at the same time, because Shane has always been strong, that's fine. I think the problem is the booking that happened after. I think the Kane Shane was fine.
Yeah.
Kane then buries The Undertaker. Brilliant. Great. Then does a really weird promo on SmackDown.
Is it?
It's a eulogy for The Undertaker. It's a really weird promo. He's like in a suit, practically giving a eulogy. I don't know if he's in a suit or not, but it feels like that. And then he just randomly goes, I want a world title. So I was like, do you? Why? Why do you want a world title shot? Seems odd. And then he just loses. Yeah. I think he even takes the pin in the Goldberg Triple H match. Again, I can't remember. So, is it bad? No. We are starting general. Kane and Shane is nowhere near bad. And there's so many things to see the good in Kane and Shane.
Yeah. And you know what? If you took that feud
Put it
and or even 2018, like 2019, you put it there, it would have been the hottest thing going because it's a story with...
When Braun Strowman was lifting and pushing over stuff, how is that any different in the kind of grand climax of the thing? You know, him pushing over a truck is silly. Him getting a grappling hook and pulling down the tightrope is silly. This is silly. But if you treat it with reverence and seriousness, then it works. If you treat it as a joke, it doesn't. And Kane was not a joke.
It's one of the best stories in Kane's career.
I think it is. I really do. Because Kane, literally, if you ever look at Dave Meltzer does not like Kane. He has the worst feud, I think, 7 of the 10 years in a row, or something like that. And it's 7 to 10 years in a row.
I mean, he's been patchy, but he's been patchy, but not that.
Kane's had some bad stuff.
Yeah.
And we will, when we have to do Seeing the Good in 2004...
Don't say it, Sam.
No, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
And also one from 2002. So we got one with one lady who died, one with another lady who... Those aren't great. Those will be difficult. So we've started nice and gentle. But do you think Kane and Shane had any redeeming qualities? Did you see any good in Kane and Shane? Did you see anything that we've completely missed out of Kane and Shane? Well, please let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more discussions on our round table. See the good in. And we will see you next time. Stage hand! Flames.